Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Thing. It is the Wednesday episode. Now, normally we do Sith Council Big Thing on Wednesday, but it's all this DC stuff happening, and we wanted to talk about it. And I was able to get Roxy and Brett in here early, to be honest, on the day that this thing dropped. So that's why we make sure we drop it right in the morning for you. And we have the entire slate itself. So we're going to talk about it. I have a casting choice for Supergirl. Now, I know some people said that she's already been cast, because whether they're going to use the one from the Flash, I don't know. But I have my choice, and I'm going to tell Roxy and see what she thinks. I don't care what Brett thinks. She doesn't know who she is anyway. We have so much to talk about. The Batman 2, officially, the Batman Chapter 2. That's the name of the movie. So there you go. I just broke some news. John Wick. He's not John Wick all the time. He's also Constantine. And the reason why the second movie got made, or was going to get made, is because he was pushing. Now, the question is, does that fit into the slate? Who the hell knows? He was even part of DC? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't even know anymore. What the hell's part of DC? What's not? And the main question, the main topic of this entire show, did the guy that Roxy is dating watch last week's clip? I have to know. And has he fixed this communication problem? I need to know. What do you guys know? What do you know? Well, I'll tell you what you need to know. You got to subscribe to the channel. Look at that. Just like that. Hit the button. Do what you got to do. Get us to 70,000. We're on the way, but we need your help. So make sure you do that. Get yourself one of the shirts. I got a funny story about Big Thing sweatshirt. I'll tell that as well in just a moment. Patreon.com/The Big Thing Show. A lot of great stuff happening over there. Q&As, watch-alongs. It's really, there's some great people I'm meeting over there. So if you can join, then you should. Last but not least, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are on video now on Spotify, which is great. I've been uploading all of these episodes to Spotify. So if you get your podcast from Spotify, you can now watch us on Spotify as well. All right, everybody, let's get to it. It's The Big Thing. It's me, it's Roxy, it's Brett. We'll do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Big Thing. Roxy Striar.
Now you know.
Hi.
Brett Sheridan. And Roxy, right? Brett Brass Tacks.
Yeah.
Did he see it? Did he see
I
the
don't
clip?
know. If he did, he didn't say anything. He doesn't follow me on Instagram.
No.
He hasn't been posted since 2012, so I don't know if he's an Instagram
He's not a social
person.
media guy?
But I was talking to other guys.
That's the most Boston I've ever heard you sound, by the way. Go ahead.
Talking.
It was the first time I've ever heard you.
What?
But I was,
I like
sometimes it slips out. But I was
what she said.
talking to other guys, and definitely some of them saw it, which is not a good look for me.
Oh, yeah. That's tough.
It's worse than him seeing it. Him seeing it, he knows it's about him. Other guys seeing
That's
it.
not necessarily my fault, though.
Is that what you took from that? Oh, yeah. It's not his fault, Rox. I don't know. Your relationships are no concern as long as...
I'm so used to defending myself in my house.
It's like, first of all, I didn't come at you at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
I just want to make that clear. I just want to make it very clear that none of this is my
That's
fault.
not necessarily my fault, though.
It's not my fault.
Okay.
You didn't say it's my fault.
No.
Oh, that's rough, Rock. That's an
the problem.
element I never had to deal
Yeah.
with.
So you know what? It was interesting. I was at my grandparents' house this week, and my cousin was there, and he saw the clip.
Did he like it?
And he said to me, yeah, he loved it. But he said to me, he was like, you know, it's got to be tough to date you, my dude. I was like, well, other than the obvious reasons why. And he was just like, you're fucking ruthless. You'll talk about anybody. And that's why I think I'm good at my job. Yeah. So
100%.
Definitely.
it doesn't make me a great lover. It does make me a great broadcaster.
A great co-host, because that's also the misconception. A lot of people have, like, I wouldn't tell Christian story. And I'm like, do you understand how long you and I have been doing this?
I know.
We've been doing this for, like, I told them, I said, this is not the first time I've done this to Roxy, and it will not be the last time. I did it to her at the beginning of this show.
I think my favorite comments on any video ever were those comments, because half the people were like, they understood I asked Team Christian, Team Roxy as a fucking joke, and they were just like, oh no, but it was funny. And half the people were like, Christian, man, not even half the people, according to Kristian, man. Come on, you asked her. You didn't want to know. You don't want to know the answer. Just stop making fun of people. Like,
there were a few of those, but it was
amazing.
Though I don't mind people who were like being concerned and were like, and maybe don't know. You got to also remember, there's a lot of new subscribers.
They don't know the dynamic.
They don't know the dynamic yet. So, and if they,
and it's nice they're worried about me.
100%. If they approached it in like that way, there were very few, maybe less than 1%. That were just like, this is stupid. This isn't funny. You're a jerk for doing this. Bye. You're no longer part of this channel.
Incredible. Yeah. That was like one of my favorite episodes ever.
It was hilarious.
So fucking stupid.
It was hilarious.
I am in his sweatshirt right now.
Ooh.
You better hope this guy doesn't watch. I mean, because you don't wait. Now, does the guy know
that I stole his sweatshirt?
No, not that he stole his sweatshirt. Now that the other guys know, because now you just revealed. Like, so one guy got pissed off because
not pissed off, but immediately
concerned. What did he say?
I know he saw it because he liked the video, and then he sent me a text message
saying what?
Like, not about him, about him. Like, can I see? Like, I think he was like feeling the pressure, like off to the.
So
races.
this could wait a minute. So this could have worked in your favor. That's what we're saying.
I never said it was your fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
But there's this one guy. So really, right now I am kind of like, I don't know, because of the communication issues, I don't know how much to give to this one guy who I genuinely really like. Go ahead, Kristian.
No, I'm holding it in.
Go ahead. It's coming at a different time.
I'm not going to do it. I held it.
Oh, okay. So I don't know because I do like him, but we got to work on our communication, which he is working on.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, I'm in the middle of still with other people. One other guy, we made plans. I dropped the video.
Oh.
You dropped the video. I shared it. He went MIA. Is it related? I don't know.
Fuck him.
Fuck
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Can't take a joke?
You can't take a joke.
It's not even a joke. It's not really
Get
a
out of
joke.
there.
Not
Still.
a joke. It was me, actually.
Yeah, but hilarious. Look, if it's me and I see that, I do what the first guy did.
Yeah, you want to play him.
I go, hey, wait a minute. Either you're gonna tell stories about me and only me, and these other humps can take a walk, and then you'd probably go, I like that.
The other thing is, like, I always get the excuse.
So you do it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I always have the excuse of being like, you know what? I was telling an old story.
You don't want to lie, though. Maybe you do.
No, I don't want to lie. But just if I get interested in somebody else.
Yeah, or you could just say, listen, that's what happened, and I'm going to, this goes the right way, I'm going to cut the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, so there you go. So you told the truth.
Yeah, no, I always tell the truth on that one, directly asked.
I think
I just don't want to talk
I like that your cousin thought it was funny.
He thought it was very funny, but he thinks that I'm savage, and I do agree. I think that it's not nice.
Well,
communication issues is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
I was the one who did that.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't do. All you did was say the guy had communication issues.
But that's still kind of.
Told you it was coming at some point today.
He could have taken that wrong. I mean, because it is a bit of a complaint. It's a mild.
I just think I'm the kind of girl. You guys know this about me. Mm-hmm. If that's gonna bother you, I'm not your girl.
No,
no. If that isn't too much for you,
that's not the last thing you're gonna talk about on the show.
There's just no way, and not even just on the show. I just mean if me saying you have a communication issue, that's like, fuck you. You consider a communication.
Well, I don't think he's gonna. What the issue could potentially be with him is, my concern wasn't that you said I had a communication issue. It was that you told thousands of people I had a communication.
I never give identifying information out about anybody.
What's his name?
Mm-hmm. Who isn't my man.
Right.
Like, because then you're being a
right douche.
You know, yeah.
Have you gone out with him since that date?
Yeah.
And how's it go?
It's going well.
So it's going well. So
She's got the sweater on.
Well, no. I actually got this after the second date. I was legit cold, and this wasn't like a sex thing.
So wait a minute. So were you tempted to tell him about the clip when you went on the date?
I was tempted because he actually brought up his communication issues.
Amazing.
On the date, and I almost,
did you think about it?
Oh, of course I did. He said it, and I kind of giggled to myself and was just like, "Don't do that, Roxy," because you're gonna have to say something important.
It's my fault.
That is, yeah.
If it worked in my favor, it's your fault. Right. If it didn't, it's not.
100%.
And he was bringing it up, and he actually said to me something really sweet about it, where he was like, "I give a shit about working on this. Like,
love that.
I'm going to get better at this
All
because,
right.
or I'm going to try. So I didn't feel like the right moment to be like, I'm glad you're going to try. You want to see something?
So if it goes well, by
If it
the
goes
way,
well, in a couple of weeks, I'll show him.
okay, you have to because it's gonna have. It has a sense of humor so far.
Excellent.
All right, so then this is what I'm hoping that he does. That you show him that clip when it's time.
Yeah.
And that he calls you one time and does it.
Oh my God.
That to me
I'd
shows then that's the guy.
I would die.
And then I want him as a guest on the show.
Okay, I would
Yeah.
die. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Who, like, can you imagine? Oh, no.
If you marry him?
Oh my God, Kristian.
Why would you do that?
Because that's what I do. That's my fault. Look at her face.
I want to try the sweater on to see how big of a dude he is. I don't.
Put on his pants.
Yeah.
He was a professional hockey player, so.
Oh, he is a professional hockey player?
Was.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
What does he do now? You told me.
He's a lawyer. Yeah. Then after hockey, he went to law school and then got his master's.
Look at this guy.
He's a
Yeah.
bomb.
This guy's a fucking baller.
He's-
I'm not going to give a shit about that clip.
I don't
It's
think
like the honey
so.
badger. I
He's-
don't give a shit.
Who the fuck knows? I'm not going to talk about what you just mentioned, the M word, because holy shit.
Yeah.
Pants?
What?
His pants? I mentioned his pants.
What?
He's got big pants.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see
All
him.
right, he's got decent sized pants.
Look at that. See? I'm giving a lot of information now.
Now you can find him. Go find him. He's not on social. Enjoy. It'd be interesting to see. We'll see where this goes. My walls are up to the fucking sky.
I know, but they're coming down a little bit with this character.
I don't know because he had to address that too.
Oh.
The walls?
Yeah, he's like communication. Okay, Missy.
Okay.
Fuck me. No.
That's why he has trouble communicating.
I can't hear you. What are you saying?
That's why he can't communicate. The wall is too high.
I guess he could. I guess he actually was. He wasn't on the phone, so he actually was getting his words out
He's
all right.
trying, but I can't hear him through the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why it sounds like that.
Right.
Damn.
Maybe
Well,
he doesn't
that's-
have communications problem.
No,
Maybe
it's
your
me.
walls are up. Yeah,
It's me
that's
high.
it. That's
All
it.
right.
But that sounds
Hey,
like
it's
a
me.
nice little give and take there.
I
We'll
do like
see.
what you're doing here. I like it.
On the show?
Both.
Yeah. What the part that benefits you or the
Both. Well, then when it's not my fault,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
I like it.
I didn't do anything. That nobody said you did anything. I mean,
Hey,
Well, that's not my fault.
it's not my fault. It wasn't my fault. I'm just telling you that's a defense mechanism. It's every morning, whether it's who left the laundry on the floor or who didn't.
That's not my
do
fault.
this. Not my fault.
Okay.
No, I get it all the time.
not my chair, not my problem.
99% of the time, my fault.
Is that like not my circus, not my monkeys?
No, that was an old early on internet thing. You remember that scene? Look at this guy's drinking out of cups. It's
about
like
the
it's
gecko?
a gecko.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the gecko on acid?
Not my chair, not my problem.
Oh. That's the best.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
It's got a little.
Scott-a-da-douche. All
I
right.
love that clip.
Now, right away, this is exactly where we started off last week, and we're back. But before I get into the actual DC stuff, because we're going to do a lot of that, and I think we're going to really dive deep into it, I want to tell you guys about Athletic Greens. You guys know how much I love Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens every day. You guys know it. I've been talking about it forever, and there's a reason why they're on the shelf. I mean, they're on the shelf, for goodness sake. And why did I start taking it? I wanted better gut health. I wanted increased energy, immune system support. I hated taking pills, vitamins, and I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. And that's what I do. You guys know it. I have that. I'm not going to lie to you. I saw it when I first started taking it. I was like, it's green. It's yummy. Tastes good. You get intimidated at first, but then after you take that sip, you're like, oh, man, they actually made it taste good. And I take AG1 in the morning. I put it in a water bottle, and I shake it up, and I love it. And I do it right before. Now I can do it right before the coffee. It's great. It makes me feel unstoppable. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it. It's good for sleep quality too, by the way. It really helps with sleep quality. I noticed that right away. And I don't like combining all vitamins, and I've never been really a big vitamin guy. Taking all the supplements and bunch of different things. This makes it easy for you. You just take it in one scoop. Done. It's 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods. It's so good. It's so good and it's so great. And you guys know for how long I've been talking about it. And I've gotten so many responses from you guys of people who've been trying AG1 and been loving it. And you get it delivered every month Very easy to make it a daily habit. So, if you are looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. You go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. That is athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Check it out today. All right. Thank you once again to Athletic Greens. Man, love them. You guys know how much we love them. Roxy, do your thing. Where is it? Do it. There's the Vanna White. Yeah, Athletic Greens. It's right there, right next to Ray. No, don't make the noises. Yeah. Athletic Greens. Make sure he gets it. No, it didn't help. We just lost some people. But now we get you back. And go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. All right. Let's get into this thing, man. Tons of it. James Gunn comes out. He has this big announcement yesterday. And they announced the whole entire slate for the DC universe.
Part of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, a majority of it, right? And I'll start with this. I am just as confused after as I was before. You?
I would say I am not just as confused. I don't think that this provided a ton of clarity, but it did allow me to know some things they're focusing on and caring about, and I do think that they did provide a little clarity about Elseworlds versus
Did
DC.
They know? I mean, because here's my question. Why, and this is the question I asked Mike yesterday. Okay, we're doing Elseworlds. We're leaving the door open for Ezra. We're leaving the door open for Gal Gadot. We're leaving the door open for everybody except Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
What? How is it like? Why not? If they're gonna do a Superman, because someone said, "Let it go, Harloff." If they can't do a Cavill movie, they want somebody younger. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. Stop talking and typing. What I'm saying is, if they were gonna do a young Superman, which they should, why then say, but that J.J. Abrams Superman movie, that's still in development, could happen. Why not do a Henry Cavill movie also?
So here's what I think we got clarity on. We know that Robert Pattinson's Batman is not our Batman.
Yeah, we knew that was always said.
No.
Yes, it was.
Not by the people.
It was.
Not by them.
By
not
Matt
by
Reeves.
not by the people, us people, like the Twitter people that were saying, bring Robert Pattinson over to be Batman.
Oh.
So Joker and Batman, and Joker meaning Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, the musical, part 2, Batman, Matt Reeves, it's not going anywhere. But it is being labeled as Elseworlds.
Right.
And that does leave the door open for all of those, like the Penguin spinoff or whatever it is. So that I think he just made abundantly clear, as opposed to this like sneak around method that a lot of people thought that they were going to do. The thing that he says, so the 4 movies that we know are slated right now. We've got Shazam, we've got Aquaman, we've got Blue Beetle, and we've got The Flash. So Shazam... Shit timing this week with Zachary Levi being just in the news nonstop. You could tell James Gunn said nothing about Shazam other than it's happening.
The only thing he said was that Shazam kind of does his own thing on the side. Yeah.
He's like, it does its own thing and it's fine. So that didn't make me feel confident that we're getting a lot of Shazam moving forward. Also, we know that The Rock is the other person who's come out and said, I'm not involved in the future of this. So then we've got the Aquaman thing, which is interesting because we heard that possibly he might be recast as Lobo or like that.
Right.
So still confused on that. No clarity there. The Flash thing, I feel like what he genuinely said to us was, this movie's fucking great, as we thought. But I didn't get the sense that he was saying, now Ezra is our Flash in the future.
What I got from it is, okay, here, this is what he said. This is the confusing part. He said, all right, so we have all these movies coming out. We got Shazam coming out. We got Aquaman, all these movies that came out beforehand. And then The Flash is going to reset things and put our DCU into motion. So something's going to happen inside of The Flash that puts us into motion. But the thing is, Aquaman comes out after The Flash.
Yeah.
And so does Blue Beetle. So the question is
but Blue Beetle didn't come out before The Flash as a character. So that
No, that's true. But I mean, as far as sequence and how it plays into the DCU. And so the question then is, did they go back and reshoot some stuff for Aquaman because they pushed it? So did they know they were going to do something like this and say, all right, because they can still do reshoots now in order to make it work. And like, okay, we needed to finish the DCU, and maybe that's what the conversations were that they had with Jason Momoa, that they said, all right, we want this to play in, we want Aquaman to really have a part in this, in the Gods and Monsters thing that we're going to do. So the Flash is going to set something into motion, and then that's going to play into your movie, which will then jumpstart our entire thing that happens in 2024 with the TV shows.
Or is Aquaman the equivalent of Black Widow?
Where it's just kind of like a standalone thing, part of it, but doesn't.
And it's going back in time.
That's true too. But yeah, I don't know. But
that would be weird, but it's possible for sure.
Weird. Yeah, but then But Amanda Waller has a TV show, so the question is that the Amanda Waller?
So this is the confusing, and we know it's Viola Davis. He specifically said that. Right. So the confusing parts about the announcement are
all of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Some of it
bizarre.
It's not clear fully, but there is some clarity. What's not clear is. We know that he loves Peacemaker. Mm-hmm. He is Peacemaker. You know, he's made that. That's his baby. Yeah. We know he loves the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. We know he loves this Amanda Waller team. He's obviously drawn to them, and those seem to be the people that he's kept. Yep. So we know there's going to be this show, Waller, and prior to that, there's going to be another show that features Amanda Waller / the Peacemaker peoples, the Authority or whatever, or the other show that was announced.
Which the Authority is the movie, yeah.
Oh yeah, what was the other show that's coming before the Waller thing?
That's this one. Hold on.
It's called
The Creature Commandos, the animated one.
No, there's another one that's got the Peacemaker people in it at some point. I know they're going to be on Waller too, though.
No, the Peacemaker. That's this one. That's the Creature Commandos. This is Rick Flagg's dad.
And that's why he said, and that's why Gunn said that they're going to use the same actors, voice actors in the cartoons as well.
Yep, and everything
animated
and everything. So
as much as they can. So I think that the Waller thing is a little confusing. Yeah, I'll give you that. I don't know. Like that to me means that we're keeping the Harley Quinn group safe, the Birds of Prey group. Right. That means that they would all be in play. But I don't think that we're moving forward with Ezra Miller. I don't think that we're moving forward with Henry Cavill. Obviously, no Ben Affleck. I don't think we're moving forward. Of course, no Ray Fisher. The Themyscira show, Paradise Island. I think it's not a Gal Gadot show.
It's not. They said it. They said as much.
So I think that where is she?
Good, Brett.
Oh, I'm just wondering, why aren't they moving forward with Robert Pattinson?
No, they are.
They are. I thought you said you weren't.
No, so it's just not connected to. So again, this is a great question because this is the casual fan that could be confused by all
just saw the Batman.
So it is going forward, and it'll probably have a trilogy because the second one's going to do really well, and then the Penguin. The way you got to look at it is like
Elseworlds.
it's Elseworlds, but it's like it's basically like a side universe. It does all these things that we're talking about, the Wonder Woman, the Amazon prequel series, and all that stuff. That's in this like one pocket, like this one big pocket over here, and then on this other side island is the Batman stuff with Pattinson. It's definitely still happening, and then a very small little island is Joker Part 2, which they're doing. Now the question is there another island that has all these characters, because they said in this release that we're keeping the door open for Ezra Miller and Gal Gadot and other characters. Now the question of this is I posed this to Roxy because I posed this to Mike yesterday. Does it make sense because these movies are coming out, The Flash and these movies that they want to get people into the theater, that they're like, we're keeping the door open? But there just might not be anybody home when you come in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do genuinely think, though, Kristian, less manipulatively than that. I don't know that they know the answer.
Right. I think they want to see how the box office does and all that kind of stuff.
I think that, like, if Flash... they are making, as they said, an 8 to 10 year plan. So I think they have an outline. Mm-hmm. However, I think that they're keeping the door open. When they say that, they legitimately mean, we don't know yet. We don't know. And for the people at home who were like, there was no casting announcements in this at all.
It shouldn't have been.
I get what they're saying. I understand you want to know who Superman is. Trust me, I want to know who Superman is as well. Yeah. But at the same time, I think they're not telling us because they don't know yet.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm in the middle of writing it. And I think that the thing that's going to help the Bretts of the world be less confused with the specifically Batman element of this is the fact that we're doing a Batman and Robin story, and he very clearly specified that.
Yeah.
We're going Batman and Robin, which is going to be super different.
But an older Batman, but a younger Superman, which is interesting.
Yeah, because Robin, I think, is probably very quickly going to...
Robin's going to be his son.
Be the it guy.
And Robin's only... If they do this version accurate to the comic, this Robin's like 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I don't know.
And probably signed a 10, 15-year contract.
True. So there's a lot. Look... And I
think he'll probably be about 16.
That's what I said. I said make him a little older. But one of the things that I had mentioned is that even though I'm thoroughly confused, what I did like is the actual plan itself. Now, some people don't like the plan at all and think it's too James Gunny, right? Like all of the stuff that he chose is very similar to stuff he likes. I don't mind.
There's a Superman and Batman, but yeah, okay.
But even though there is the Superman one is probably the most outside the realm, even though he's writing it, is most outside when you hear it going, oh, well, that seems like something James Gunn loves, right? Because James Gunn, the animated one, this one, where is it? This one is when you just hear about these characters are fighting the werewolf and all this is fighting Nazis. I mean, that's straight up James Gunn. And like you said, Roxy, it's connected to Peacemaker. So that makes sense. The Amanda Waller thing, again, connected to Peacemaker. You can see where he's going to be able to do that. That makes sense that he would do that. Superman is the one that is, even though he's writing it.
And he's always said he's a big Superman fan.
And we'll look at Brightburn. He was a producer on that movie. And then the Green Lantern series, though, I mean, but even when you look at what it's about, going more less space opera is what Berlanti wanted to do, and he's doing more dark kind of True Detective, which I think is an interesting way to go. But again, you can see why James Gunn would go in that direction. This one, the Authority one, when you hear about how it's just the world is messed up and these superheroes take it among. It's like kind of sounds like The Boys to me. But again, seems like something James Gunn would do. And then I guess this is but again, turning into like a Game of Thrones darker series seems very similar to James Gunn.
Yeah, he did say Westeros in his thing.
Yes, and then the Batman and Robin, as you mentioned, the difference is this version this isn't Dick Grayson. This is Ra's al Ghul's or whatever Talia al Ghul's son, who is an assassin. That is very up James Gunn's alley. Booster Gold, you don't get any more James Gunn than that. Supergirl.
And we know we have a Blue Beetle already.
Right.
And that's what I do think that there is a big future for Blue Beetle because we're going to do some kind of Booster Gold Blue Beetle thing.
That's what I'm hoping. And then you get the Supergirl, which is they're going.
Ooh, who's your casting?
I'll tell you in a second. Okay. Super dark there, and then Swamp Thing. For the horror element, you go back to Slither.
Swamp Thing was a really interesting thing for them to announce during this time. I have thoughts on that.
So let's talk about that because here's my reason why I think it's a really interesting and bold, but a smart move. And I'll tell you why I think it's smart, because if you look at it, well, let me also preface it by saying this. It depends on how they do it. If they spend 150, I think it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If they spend 150 million on this movie, 200 million, mistake.
Yeah, they cannot spend over 70 on this.
Less.
Because Joker was 70, right?
Yeah, I think less, depending on who the star is. Less, and you make it Blumhouse style. And if you're going to go full horror like they say they're going to, you go Blumhouse, cheap, and I use Black Adam as a reference, right? Black Adam is a movie that should have cost 70 million, 80 million, maybe 100, and it cost way more than that, and it barely broke even at $450 million, right? That's because it was a lesser known character. This is not a movie that's going to drive audiences to the theater. You got to spend cheap, but you can Blumhouse it and make a lot of money off of it if you do it for cheap.
Yeah, it's not a bad announcement by any means. I'm excited for this. I like the character Swamp Thing. I liked the show Swamp Thing. I think that there's room for this. It was interesting to include this in the slate. The way that James Gunn opens up is saying, like, this is not everything in phase one, essentially. Mm-hmm. But then he did include this, and I think the reason for that was to say, like, y'all don't know shit. You think you know what we're doing. You don't know fully what we're doing. Here's a little taste of all the things. Your main DC characters, the Peacemaker people that or Suicide Squad crew that you love that I've incorporated. And by the way, we're doing a Swamp Thing. So it's like...
And horror, and a straight-up horror is what they said, yeah.
Yeah, which we just kind of... I've been seeing Marvel be more successful at recently, and James Gunn has seen that with like the specials that they've done, which have been super duper cheap. The one,
Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night was the closest thing. Even though Doctor Strange had horror elements, it wasn't a horror film.
Werewolf by Night, I would say was.
I think it was kind of like an old school monster movie. Yeah, 100%. If they go full on horror with this, then they can, because I think that's the difference, is that James Gunn is really going to go for it. If he sets this thing up, you can't make it like a superhero movie. Like, if you go for that Blumhouse feel, make me a crazy horror Swamp Thing that's still somehow, and they said this in the announcement, semi-connects to the whole thing. Yeah.
It is good. The parent company of DC, obviously being Warner Brothers, is very different than the parent company of Marvel being Disney.
Yeah.
And,
yes, true.
And I think that does give us the reason why we love Suicide Squad and Peacemaker and a lot of the things that might be a little outside of the comfort zone of the comic book movies typically is that. And if they do Swamp Thing the way that Swamp Thing deserves to be done, it will be fucking gross.
Yeah.
In a good way.
I think Swamp Thing is more known than I mean, I know it's more known than Black Adam, but I think as far as like a character, I think your general public has heard of Swamp Thing before.
Right, but he's not like a super popular character,
but I mean
more recognized.
Yeah, like I think if you were to go like, hey, do you want to go see Black Adam and go see the Swamp Thing? I think more of the regular Joes would have picked the Swamp.
Even with the picture of The Rock?
Yeah, see, that's the difference. You just it's just it's look, if you're gonna make it a horror,
The Rock's the Swamp Thing.
If you're gonna make it a horror film, though, you cannot spend a lot of money on this movie because that's a niche all in itself. And then Swamp Thing is a niche all in itself, but it could be a brilliant move if they spend, again, like I keep using that Blumhouse example. If they do, look what they did with Megan, right? Like that movie was made for like 67 cents and it made so much money. It made a ridiculous amount of money.
I could live off that 67 cents.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it made so much money, and like that's Blumhouse's thing. That's what they do, and they make movies, and they do it on the cheap, and they make it work. And I think that they should be used as an example. Just because you're a big studio making these big superhero movies, you can still make a shit ton of money.
But make this one scary.
But make it scary.
Unlike Megan.
You guys are so weird on Megan.
My mind is blown.
I told
how
you
people
guys.
love this so much.
Mine is not.
Yeah.
Mine is not. I think that I understood because Roxy's reaction to Megan was the reaction to most of the public, and it was they agreed with exactly what we said, is that it was entertaining and fun.
Yeah.
It was entertaining and fun. You and I just had a different expectation of what we thought we were getting, kind of like an even scarier Chucky.
I wanted to be like jumping out of my seat.
What she was sold on, she got.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why it's so successful, and that's why they're doing a second one. So I understand absolutely why it's made this money.
Yeah, I enjoyed that very much.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, not bad. No, it's still. I don't think it's bad.
You were just expecting something else.
Of these DC announcements, I know that you're confused, and I know people out there are saying fire James Gunn and all that stuff.
That's silly.
Yeah, of course it's silly. But the thing there's a few things that are really cool. July 11th, 2025.
Yeah.
We are getting a Superman movie.
Right.
Like, you can't take that from me. I mean, you can, I guess, but please don't. Like, now I'm like, okay, July 11th, 2025.
It's big.
We are going to see a Superman movie. Man of Steel came out in 2013?
Yes.
So this is going to be 12 years later that we're getting another Superman movie. Of course, there was BVS and there's been Superman in movies, but this is a Superman movie in 2025.
And it's not an origin.
With nothing else, that's an announcement.
Yeah, major announcement, and it also won me a pizza, so I'm happy about that. 'Cause I had a bet with Coy and Winston. We were talking about it on Capes and Cows a couple months back, and I said we all thought Superman would be the first one. I mean, it just makes sense to lead with Superman. You have to, but we said, well, when could it happen? I said, realistically, if you look at everything you have to do with that movie, you got to cast it, you got to do this, you got to do all.
To write it.
Yeah, he already said that he was writing it, so that was the kind of the one up at that point to why Winston was like, I think they can get it out by summer 2024. I said, you're crazy.
That is crazy.
I was like, there's no chance you're getting out.
He said that in 2022.
He said at the end of 2022. We were saying, I said, that's crazy. There's this. You have to do so much. And I think he kind of backtracked a little bit when we mentioned like previs. He's like, I didn't think about that. But Coy's like, no, I think December 2024, which is not as crazy, but it's tough.
No, because that time period, it would annihilate then. But
it's just tough because you have to again do everything in it by pushing it into 2025 and especially into the summer season into 2025. It gives you that one up. The only thing is, which I understand why they said, because this will be Superman is going to be everything for this slate because everything because not only in some of the point I didn't make yesterday, one of the main reasons that it is so important, their contract ends in 2025.
Yeah. Even though they're making an 8 to 10 year slate, they
could if it bombs and Safran decides I don't want to re-up your contract. I don't like the shows that you put together. I don't like anything you did. We had this movie. You're out. And then someone else, I like the movies you set up, but we're going to make some changes, and now someone else is going to come in and do it. But the goal is, here's everything that we're leading up to, and we're going to put this movie out. If it delivers, if that first Superman delivers, you better, and even if they know it and they'll have seen it before it comes out, and they'll know if it's good and starts tracking well and people are excited about it, their contract gets renewed like that. And then they're in for another 3 years or whatever it might be. The question I have for you is, do you think, because the only date that we got definitively was the Superman one.
Yeah.
Because shows are easier to put out quicker. So if you started filming, anyone, I think the Lantern show will be the first one to go out.
That's been
live
the one
action.
talked about for so long too.
Yeah, it was a different one at the time. It was Berlanti's one. It was a space opera.
Everybody thought they were doing a Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan show.
Yeah.
And that's what they said they were doing. So that turnaround on that could be, honestly, I don't know where they're at with it, but we could see it by the end of this year.
You think we could see it actually air by the end of this year?
Not maybe necessarily that one, because I do think the casting of that's going to be more important, but I do think we could start to see, we're in January. I think that some of these might have like a 8-month turnaround.
I think we see the animated one that he's working on already, that one with the Suicide Squad thing. I think that one comes out first because he's already written the scripts.
This year, though.
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially, if not the beginning of next year. I think we get the Lantern show in 2024 at the end of it, maybe like September, October.
They just have to put so much more prep into that one, because definitely their Lanterns are going to be making appearances in their movies and just the world that they're building in general. And that's going to take so much effects as well, that I agree with you that I don't think we're going to see that one until 2024.
One of the reasons, though, I think that it comes out in 2024, or at least close to like Superman, because they said inside of the release that inside of that true detective story that they're doing is whatever the big event is that they're discovering, that plays into this whole first phase or whatever it is for Gods and Monsters, and that Superman will have, I mean, you would assume you wouldn't want to put Superman out first and then it's like, oh, that thing that has nothing to do with Superman at all. You want it to be included.
Yeah, I'm struggling, actually. I kind of changed my mind even as we're sitting here talking about it, because I do think we are slated through this entire year with movies that we don't know if the characters are even going to be moving forward. I don't think you really want to intermix that with anything else until those characters are gone.
Right, so 2024.
Maybe I thought the end of the year, this year, we might see something, but it might not be till the top of next year.
Yeah, I think you let it clear, right? Because you've got those 3 movies that are coming out. You got Blue Beetle, you got Aquaman, you got Flash. They're saying 4 movies this year. So you got 4 big movies, and you see how they do. You're 100% right. They sit back and they look and see, like, all right, how does this work? And I think there's another reason why they say they keep the door open, because they don't want people to go, well, they just said they're disregarding all those movies and it doesn't count. Why am I going to go see it?
Yeah, it's like I told everybody at home to go watch Reboot, that show that I recommended people that I was obsessed with, and this week it got canceled. And it's like,
oh man,
it's hard to recommend it then anymore. Like when you know something's canceled, you don't really want to start a show.
Yeah, because you don't want to hurt somebody. You're like, oh, you got invested and there's no ending.
Yeah, so I feel that if they did say we're never going to see Ezra again, we're never going to see Momoa again, we're never going to see Zachary Levi again, then obviously the movies aren't going to do as well.
Right. And that makes sense. And then the other thing, as we said, Swamp Thing. Yeah. So the Supergirl.
Oh yeah. Okay. You think that they're recasting?
I don't think they're going to necessarily recast. Well, that's again.
She's supposed to be in the Flash.
That's the question. So the actress they got cast in, and I don't have anything against the actress who's playing her. I just don't know if they're recasting or not. They're going to keep it in there. They're going to, if they reboot. I know the Variant is a Marvel thing, but is she going to be a the same thing, but just a different version? I know, same thing. So it very well could be her. I've just been watching a show recently. I mean, Isabel May is absolutely incredible and would be an amazing Supergirl.
What is she in?
She's in 1883. She is. Did you see 1883?
The first episode.
She's the daughter.
Oh, okay.
She's the daughter, and she just gets significantly better in every episode. She is
not in 19. Not
no.
In the
she's in 1883, and she's like one of the main characters. She is fantastic. There's a scene that I saw with her recently on the episode. I think it was like episode 5 or 6. I can't remember. There's a particular. I'm not gonna spoil it for him, but there's something like big that happens, And it was very similar to me. I mentioned often on this show, I know you're not a fan of Mel Gibson, but one of the best acting performances I've ever seen from Mel Gibson was in Braveheart, when he's on the battlefield and Robert the Bruce betrays him and he doesn't say a word, and it's just his eyes. Everything that he's saying or thinking is in his eyes. And I always have taken that as a teenager. I remember seeing it and knowing that she does something very similar in this particular episode. There's a particular emotion. Again, I don't want to give it away. There's a particular emotion she's going through, and I immediately saw it, and I went, "Oh, this girl is incredible." And she looks like she looks like Jennifer Lawrence, but she is she looks like Supergirl to me, and I think she'd be amazing. But if they have her cast, and I don't know, we could come out of the Flash and go, "That girl, what's her name?"
Sasha Calle.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking up, because I have a hard time remembering her. I always just think Melissa Benoist.
Right.
But it also is interesting too, as we are casting Superman. It is relevant to them as
Sure.
they are cousins. Like, that doesn't mean that they can't look different. Of course they can. Some cousins do look different.
Well, Christopher Reeve didn't look like Helen Slater. Yeah.
Definitely, there are people like even Tyler Hoechlin and Melissa Benoist. There's not much of a resemblance there. But I do wonder if that is something that they are keeping in mind. If that is something that they're looking at.
But this version of what they're doing here, the kind of the different idea, speaking to the difference of Superman and Supergirl, is that Superman, they mentioned in the report, right, is that he was raised by good parents on Earth, and she was raised on a rock, basically on Krypton, that was exploded, and she just has had a shit life. And so you see this bloody sword in the back.
This sounds so James Gunn to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm interested in this, though, because it is the way to deviate it so much from the TV show, which just came out and we just loved it. So I think that this is smart. Also, finding hope in a world full of hope is easier than what it sounds like with her, and she's still this ray of light character. At least that's what I kind of hope that they make her as. So watching her have to figure that out as shit's hitting the fan, literally, I guess not literally, but figuratively.
That'd be interesting. So
Different show.
Different show. Airplane.
Wouldn't that be wild? I think that's fascinating. I like where they're going with her.
Now, I think this is, I wonder if you feel this way, because Gal Gadot was not mentioned or not announced, and Wonder Woman was not announced. They did have two female-led TV shows in both Amanda Waller and then the Amazon show.
The Paradise Island one you'd have to assume is all women.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. Those two, the Amazon shows. So both of those are female-driven TV shows, but up until this, no female-driven movies, right? So do you think
the canceled Batgirl?
Well, that's what I mean. The ones that are announced.
Oh yeah.
Out of the ones that were announced, do you think this was their answer to say, like, look, we're not going to do a Wonder Woman movie yet because we want to put everything together, but we are going to lead with Supergirl, and we're going to do this run because James Gunn is pulling from comics that he loves in the DC universe. He's not like just making up his own stories. He's pulling from artists, and I love that part of the article that he got a whole bunch of people, screenwriters, from DC, screenwriters out of DC, comic book writers, and they got themselves a room.
In the world that he is creating, having Supergirl involved, it seems to me like he is putting together a form of a Justice League, right? We do have a Superman. We are going to have a Robin. We are going to have a Batman. There's players. We're going to have Green Lanterns. So in that world, it does almost make more sense to have a Supergirl than a Wonder Woman. Supergirl and Wonder Woman have very similar abilities, actually.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're both two of the most powerful.
Right.
And, both can typically either fly or jump so much that you basically can fly or have some kind of a hidden jet, invisible jet. They both can do like are crazy strong, they're looked at as like these big power players. And touching Wonder Woman's going to be difficult right now. I think some people think that Gal Gadot is like the best casting of all time.
So yes, I agree with you 1,000% because I think it's give it time, right? Because I think the other thing is that we're spoiled by Marvel, and in the way that, or even not even necessarily spoiled by, you're just kind of, you automatically think, well, Marvel's been doing it for so long, 2-3 movies a year. That's probably what we're going to get. I don't think they're going to do that, nor should they? I think because they're going to have 2 or 3 TV shows, which they should, because I think that's from television on a structure like that, and you do it week by week, you can really gain a lot of. You can tell your story that you want to. Look what Star Wars is doing. Star Wars is doing TV right as far as storytelling goes. Minus whatever you want to say in the criticisms, but by telling the story weekly, I think it makes sense. Movies, you get the one out, you get Superman out. I think it's Superman in 2024. Let's see, we'll go back
2025.
2025, excuse me. 2025.
July 11th. I'll keep saying it because that's
right.
going to be my birthday week, baby.
And this is TV, but this one I think doesn't come out until the Batman and
Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, I don't think Brave and the Bold comes out until 2027. I think 2026 is this one.
You think it's going to be Supergirl? Oh.
No, this one. I think 2026 is the Authority. I think 2027 is the Batman one. I think 2028 is Supergirl.
Did part of you wish that what this was an announcement of our slate with our movies, and those movies were clearly leading to a Justice League movie? Like, would you have been happier, both of you guys, if James Gunn had come out and said, okay, 2025 we're doing Superman, 2026 we're doing Batman, 2027 we're doing either Wonder Woman or Supergirl or something along those lines, 2028 we're doing Green Lantern, and we're doubling up on some of these. There's going to be a Flash, we're going to do a new Cyborg, etc. And then in 2029 we are having our first Justice League movie. Like, would that have been better for you guys?
No, because it's not. First of all, it's not proven yet that it's working. Their plan's working. Also, that has bitten a lot of people in the ass before by announcing stuff. I think of Dark Universe or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am in agreement with you. It just seems to me like when I looked at the internet, that's seemed to be
because they're used to it with Marvel again too.
Yeah.
Marvel didn't do that right away. It took Marvel time to do that because they had to. It's like that. Announcing projects you want to work on, because we don't know. The only one definitively that they said was Superman.
Yeah.
That's the date they want to stick to. These other movies, these other shows can come out when they're ready, and they can come out to plan. They know they want to work on this. They know that they're going to fit into the plan somehow. There's just not this is when this is coming out. That's what bites you in the ass.
Do you think they know who Superman is right now?
I think they have an idea. I think they have I think they have
offer.
hopefuls. Maybe an offer, but I think they have a few hopefuls. I think that is. I mean, look, let's again do the math. Right, they're in 2025. We're about 2 years away.
Yeah, I'll be 51.
Look at you. Look, sit in it. It's perfect. So you'll be all right.
Be all right. We'll be all right.
You'll be all right. You got the Wookiee mask.
I'm going to be with you for your birthday this year.
Yes, but you're not going there for him. You're going there for Kate.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to Kate's for Brett.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Anyway, so we where was that before I was really interrupted?
One carpool?
What?
One carpool?
Yeah, you gonna drive?
No.
No. All right, listen. You figure that
You
would
don't
be
want me
nice.
to drive. I'm the worst driver.
Well, I can tell you where to go.
No. All right, we can try.
Well, I mean, you get places somewhere. You got here.
Yeah,
today.
I'm bad at directions, but I'm also just not good
Would
at
you
that.
still? You don't even. You live like what, 5 minutes away from me?
Yeah.
Could you get here without the Google Maps?
I've never once tried.
Wow.
Do you think you'd be able to do it? I don't know.
I've been to your place 4 times, and I could get here.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm asking.
Just to be like, not to dox either of us, but we are 3 streets away from each other. It's I turn.
Yeah.
And you still wouldn't know if you could do it.
I would have to read every sign.
Well, that's kind of how you got to do it.
You
lot of
read
times.
all of them?
No, I can't read anymore. My eyes are done.
Oh, just a street that you live on. I never hit it, and I'm like, that's it.
Oh.
Okay, well.
It is. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You know what we got to do? We got to do a video. We got to do a video. I really want to do this. Maybe what we do is I'll give you a camera. We'll take Roxy in this neighborhood. We'll let her. We won't blindfold her.
Yeah.
We'll drive. We'll let her watch, and we'll drop her off with the camera. You can't tell her where to go, and she's got to get. She only has one. She only has one ask.
Yeah.
Like she can ask you do we make a right or a left? Only once.
Wow.
And we record her going all the way there.
I went on a walk
That would be
this week
amazing.
with Darina.
You got lost? Let's take the kids.
So we parked, and then we walked, and then when we were trying to walk back, I was trying to lead us, and every time she'd be like, "Nope, nope."
Oh, can we do this?
Yeah,
and I'll put it on the. Would you do it?
Yeah, but if it's in this neighborhood, I'm gonna pay a lot of attention.
Fine.
Huck.
Yeah. That's fine. I like the Hawk stuff. And if you get here, then you've done it.
I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
We'll give you that time.
do.
All right, listen. Roxy at the end of this is going to need to talk to somebody. And who better than BetterHelp? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/bigthing and get on your way to being your best self. I'm so excited that BetterHelp is back. You guys know when we were with SEN, we were doing SEN Live. BetterHelp was with us, and we really, really were such major fans and so pumped to know that they are coming back to be with Big Thing. If you're at your best, you can do great things. And sometimes life gets you bogged down and you can feel overwhelmed, like you're not showing up in the way that you want to. I can tell you right now that this was the case for me. I've talked about this not too long ago. About a year ago, I was in that headspace. I was there, and I remember I'll be honest, BetterHelp. And it helped me tremendously. I've talked about it. And, just you get into that rut. Working with a therapist, it can help you get closer to the best version of you. Because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything that life throws at you. It helped me. Be able to talk to somebody, and I've mentioned this in the past. I've been in places when I've decided not to talk to people, and I got myself in trouble from doing it. I didn't talk to anybody. I let things bottle up inside. Don't do it. Because I'm telling you, when you talk to somebody, it helps. It really, really does help. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, it's flexible, it's affordable, and it's entirely online. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and then switch therapist anytime, no additional charge. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/bigthing today and you get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. I want to thank BetterHelp once again, our sponsor for this show. I love having them on board. It is so great, and I'm glad that they're back. They were with us for SEN. They're back now. Check it out, and it is always good. People are always looking for somebody to talk to. They're there for you. So check it out, BetterHelp. Okay, before we move to Roxy's TV picks, I do want to also bring up this Batman stuff, man. The Batman. Batman was approved. Batman was approved for or greenlit. We knew it was going to get greenlit, but now they're giving you the title, and the title of the movie is pretty simple. It is The Batman 2.
Woo!
Yeah, Chapter 2. Batman 2. It's dated, and it also comes out in 2015, by the way. So this is the report from Dark Horizons, following the reveal of the new films and the new films of the DC slate. James Gunn and Peter Safran spoke about the existing slate of DC projects coming and what will happen there. First, they confirmed the Batman Part 2 is going to release on October 3rd, 2025. So that'll be out after Superman and will be one of the Elseworlds film. It's not part of the DCU. Reeves' screenplay is currently in the works. The same Elseworlds label will apply to Todd Phillips' Joker and the Black Superman film, which is still in the works. So as for existing actors from the prior DCEU, Safran says there's no reason why all the people you mentioned, Godot, Momoa, Miller, Levi, couldn't be part of the DCU. We just haven't decided what the story is and what we want to tell that incorporates Shazam or Aquaman. He then teases a third Aquaman could happen, saying Jason always saw Aquaman as a trilogy. They also indicate that Ezra Miller could continue on as the Flash in the DCU, with Gunn calling Andy Muschietti's upcoming The Flash film as probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. What part of this? Did I miss this?
This wasn't in the
No, this must have been something in the
released.
Press release. Right.
It's interesting, this next part, too.
Yeah, Safran. Ezra is completely committed to their recovery. We're fully supportive of that journey that they're on right now. Gunn spoke about Zach Levi's recent controversial tweet saying, I can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't agree with. Actors and filmmakers that I work with are going to say things that I agree with and things I don't agree with. Asked about the Campbell situation, this is what Gunn says. We didn't fire Henry. Henry was never cast. He was in a cameo, and that was the end of his story. A lot of people made assumptions which weren't true. But for me, it's about who do I want to cast as Superman and who do the filmmakers want to cast? For me, this story isn't Henry. I like Henry. He's a great guy. I think he's gotten dicked around a lot by a lot of people, including a former regime of this company. But this Superman isn't Henry for a number of reasons. As for the Momoa as Lobo Romer, Gunn assets that I will say that we won't have an actor playing two different roles. Indeed, that rule of same actors playing the same roles across every medium not only applies to movies and TV shows, but to the video game as well. Unlike Marvel games from DC, will fit into the new continuity. Whilst no specific titles were announced, Gunn says titles will fit into the universe's storytelling. What's very different about it for us, for DC, it's not like we're going to have Superman come out and then have Superman game come out. It's more like we have Superman come out and then 2 years later we have Supergirl coming out. So what's the story in between there? Is there a crypto game that we can play that comes in between that's set in the world, these characters, but it's its own thing to sort of give the game the prominence that it deserves? And Safran also spoke about the canceled Batgirl. I saw the movie, and there are a lot of incredibly talented people in front of and behind the camera on that film, but that film was not releasable. And it happens sometimes. Wow. That film was not releasable. I actually think that the president and CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, and the team made a very bold and courageous decision to cancel it because it would have hurt DC. Wow. It would have hurt those people involved. Finally, Gunn...
Think he liked it?
It doesn't sound like it. Finally, Gunn confirms Ben Affleck is really keen on directing a DC movie, but it's not clear which one. He has no involvement yet with the announcement of The Brave and the Bold.
So from that, I'm getting that Supergirl likely is going to come out in 2027. Additionally, he pulled a Christian in his statement about Henry Cavill. He was like, well, that's not my fault.
Right.
Like, he's acknowledging he has been dicked around.
Yeah.
Not by me.
By the other peeps.
And that's fair. And that's what I've said about the Henry Cavill situation. Like, I think Henry got fucked.
Big time.
That's in many different ways by many different companies. But if you are James Gunn and Peter Safran and you are hired to make the best future of the company, and including him is not the right thing to do, you don't just include him because you feel bad because he's dicked around. It's
right.
not. You didn't make any promises.
I agree. The only thing that I would push back on at all is that, as they even said, they're doing the J.J. Abrams one. They're doing it's still in development. They're doing potential other stuff with other DCU characters. Why not say, okay, look, we're not going to put you as part of the DCU, but let's see if there's a way to do Man of Steel as like what's it called? The Otherworld.
Elseworld.
Yeah, Elseworld. Let's do that.
I have a strong sense that Henry Cavill is going to don the cape again at some point in some way.
So.
If I'm Kevin Feige, I'm on the phone with Cavill right now.
Yeah, of course.
I'm offering him either Doom, I'm offering him Reed Richards, I'm offering him whoever he wants to play in Marvel. I Johnny Damon him.
Yeah, I completely think that is exactly what's happening. Hence why he's been going to these Disney carpets and stuff. Nobody's ever looked more like a superhero than Henry Cavill has.
Right.
I mean, like, he's the it guy.
I want him. He was good as a bad guy in Mission Impossible. I want to see him because he's been Superman, and I had mentioned this because the rumors were that Adam Driver was going to be Reed Richards. And I love that casting choice. I love it. People are like, because he's lanky enough to play Mr. Fantastic. People are like, no, he should play Doom. Like, he did that already. He did it already. He did it as, he's already been a masked villain in Kylo Ren. And then Cavill's already played a good guy. How great would it be to see them on opposite roles but fighting each other, and having both Henry Cavill versus Adam Driver together, and having Cavill be Doom? If you announce Cavill as Doom, people will lose their minds, and that is a way. And you don't just get him as some kind of side character, or not side character, but some kind of, he's got to make this new character from Marvel pop. You know, like if they did like an Eternals movie back and he was one of the Eternals, like, no, put him as a noticeable character. He's playing Doom. That's how you go, okay, you dropped the ball, DC, we got him now.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I mean, there's other massive franchises too. Like, as a big Star Wars fan, I am curious if you feel like he would fit somewhere in the Star Wars universe that you would love to see him.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see him like as a Jedi or even a Sith or something.
Yeah, just like there's a lot. His career is going to be huge, so we can't feel too bad for him, but this is a bummer. He was Superman.
100%. This, as much as he got dicked over, which I couldn't agree with you more, this benefited his career more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because the fan support is with him. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm just sitting here thinking about like this, and it's like you've got Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa, and everybody pretty much they all love these characters, right? And they're like, nope, we're sticking with the most problematic one of all.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're gonna stick
because the same thing that he just said. James Gunn inside of that report.
I can't just, every time somebody says something stupid, just recast them.
Part one.
Yeah.
Part two is That's a little different though because of
completely.
the
I don't
circumstances.
agree with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's different though. From a tweet from what the circumstance of what Zach Levi as opposed to it was with Pfizer and other stuff too.
Yeah.
But again, not completely clarified and all. It's a tweet, and that's why Twitter needs to go away forever. But Ezra Miller did way worse. Well, in general,
they're on trial for 26 years in prison.
100%. But that's not what I meant. What I meant is that the same thing. Anytime you bring up the Flash, to people who have seen it, is how amazing it is.
Yeah.
And that is the reason
that's
why
a testament
business
to
is
how
business.
Great is great. Yeah.
Yeah, and people want to keep.
But I don't think that means that I do not hear from James Gunn. I am not hearing Ezra Miller is our Flash moving forward.
But in that report just now, that was the most clear of like
not
he might
hearing
return.
that.
But he said it in that.
Yeah, it kind of said like, hey,
Yeah,
you know,
he's
they're
listing
taking
a
care
lot
of
them.
themselves, and
Yeah.
yeah,
he did. He said, I hope that they are getting the help that they need and whatnot. But I'm not hearing him commit and say that's our Flash.
Right, and I think that it's also
We're gonna see what happens.
James Gunn might very well say that thing after that movie destroys at the box office.
Very might.
Which
But
people are not.
hasn't.
I still think you gotta cast. We gotta get rid of Ezra Miller. I think you just have to. And I'm so glad that Ezra Miller is getting the help that they need. I really am. And I said it a long time
What's
ago.
the alternative? You hoping that they don't get
No,
the help?
but I've also. I mean, from the I have way more compassion in my older years than I did when I was younger, right? It was just like, fuck 'em, blah. Now it's just like you want people to get help. You want people, but it doesn't mean that it's like, it's one of the reasons I'm going to get you fly. It's one of I think Roxy got it. Nice. One of the reasons.
I killed the fly on my hand.
And then I slapped it. I rubbed it into it. It's already dead.
you got a fly
Just
five.
watch this.
No. What are you going to do?
It's going to flick it into Brett's head.
No.
Oh wow!
Forget it. It's gone.
Carnage.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let there be carnage.
Anyway, I just think that James Gunn I still think a full reboot should have happened.
I don't want to see Barry Allen on the screen anymore. I want to see Wally West. So I don't even want Ezra's Flash anymore.
Right.
I love Barry Allen as a character, but I'm just saying, like, we've done.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, look, speaking of Roxy, she's right here. Roxy, you got your TV picks. What do you got?
All right, so this is a show that is in its second season that I'm really excited is doing very well this season. How I Met Your Father is so effing fun. People were nervous about this. The way How I Met Your Mother ended was so bad. It's on Hulu. It's so watchable. It's crazy. What I mean by that is it's just like light and enjoyable and the same premise and setup, but with Kim Cattrall talking to her kid about how she met his father, and Hilary Duff annihilates in this. The cast is great. It's endearing. There's a lot.
What's it on? I'm sorry.
It's on Hulu.
Hulu, okay.
It's just easy. It's easy to watch. If you liked How I Met Your Mother and you hated the way it ended, I think this is putting a fresh taste in How I Met Your Mother fans' mouths.
Is it better because it's on Hulu and not on network TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think so. I mean, I don't think it's better than How I Met Your Mother initially was, but
but it can get way. But those shows get weighed down by network.
Yeah. And Hilary Duff knows how to lead an effing show.
Good. All right.
She's a leading woman.
So that's on Hulu. Okay. What's next?
The next show is a show that I'm curious if you're watching right now.
Last of Us. Yes, it's really good.
Well, I could talk about that right
Okay,
now.
good. See,
The
I
Last
knew
of
it.
Us.
I
Yeah,
knew it.
how'd you
I knew
know?
it. I just
The
know.
Last of Us. The third episode was. People are arguing the best episode of television of all time.
Wow.
I think I wouldn't say that, but I will say it was a beautiful love story with that just helped build this world even more. Episode 1, I was like, how does it get better than this? Episode 2, I was like, oh my God, we can't go anywhere up from here. And episode 3, I was like, holy shit, I love anybody they put in front of me, I love.
Yeah, so interesting. I saw a lot of comments that it was filler, right? And I said, I don't know how you can. I think that if you are really paying attention to what the show is, someone said, I saw a comment on one of my videos was like, hey, it took them, 50 minutes to get a car battery. And I was like, if you took that out of that episode, you're not watching it.
It
It's
was
like,
so woven in, the story.
It was that entire episode was about what this whole show is about.
Right.
Sorry,
and
go ahead.
relating it back to our world, which is how you find peace and love
And hope.
and what matters.
Yes.
What really genuinely
Yes.
matters at
Yeah.
the end of the day. So I love that. But the one that I was going to say to you,
I thought it was that
Kristian,
one. Yeah, go ahead.
is, of course, The Bachelor.
Oh, look at
Are
you.
you watching The Bachelor?
I'll be honest with you. My wife, obviously, watching it. I'll tune in for a little bit. I will say this is the one thing that I did notice last night. Although all of these girls are so freaking young now, I feel like oh my god, they're so young.
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
They're so young, but I walked in and I go, this is maybe the prettiest cast I've seen in a long time.
Beautiful. They're really
pretty.
Beautiful.
They're really pretty.
You know what's interesting about this season so far? The guy that none of us really wanted to be picked from last season was picked.
He's like a goober.
He is so sweet and normal.
Oh, you like him?
No, that's not what I said. I said he's sweet and normal. If that was my type, I think I'd be doing a lot better.
I didn't say you like him that way. I said you like watching him.
No.
Oh.
Because he's
so
sweet and normal.
Okay.
So I kind of was like, oh, bummer. And this week's episode, this girl's trying to cause drama, and she goes to him. She's like, "You want to hear who it's about?" And he's like, "Not really." And he's just not gonna have it. He's not having it. Tejwan tried to rejoin the show. You know her from Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Can I join the show?" And he was like, "No, sorry." Like he's just not having any of the drama.
Right.
So it actually might be a season where somebody falls in love. That being said, I don't think it's gonna be the most entertaining season that we've ever seen.
Yeah, the guy's just too much of a goober. I've got. For me, it's like I'll tune into Bachelor in Paradise because it's still a car crash and it's still the same. No matter how many people you put on, whether I know them or not, it's still for the first like 5 episodes of that show, it is entertaining. But the Bachelor and Bachelorette, if basically what I do is I play with the dog on the living room floor while Sadie watches it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just became what, I mean, these girls grew up watching this show, so it became
100%.
Completely a game show at this point.
It's been on the air since 2000.
Yeah.
It's been on. It's going to go as long as it's way more than The Simpsons. It's going to be on forever because of what you just said. The fact that they can continuously watch it generations, and it is a game show. But the other thing, I just had lunch not too long ago with a former contestant.
Where was it? Was it the sushi place?
It was the one, but it was the same.
Oh my God, Kristian!
Sorry, but I had.
What color's my sweatshirt?
We'll talk about that some other time, but. We were talking about the differences when this particular contestant went on the show to today. If you're on that show back then for like 5 episodes, it's like, okay, whatever. You're on for 5 episodes now. You're making a lot of money because of your social media. Your social media stats and everything goes up, and you start to, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, you're becoming an influencer now. And that wasn't the case 5-10 years ago.
I know, it kickstarts a lot of careers.
And being there for the right reason doesn't exist anymore.
No, now it's out the window. You don't care if you like this goober or not. You're there to get, if you're out, as long as you can last to like episode 2 or 3 and do something and get enough follow. That's why it's so hard to be on that show if you're a Bachelor or Bachelorette, because you're like, you don't know who the hell's there. Like there was there's tons of them. But go ahead, Rox. Sorry.
The musician and left and whatever.
Yeah.
But there's another show I want to talk about that's big for Apple TV right now. That's Shrinking.
I watched it. Watched episode 1.
Because I recommended it?
Yes.
100%. Very good answer.
100%.
So this is Jason Segel and Harrison Ford.
You didn't recommend this before, did you?
No.
Exactly.
So you said I did.
Bastard.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
No, I was so excited because I said
you brought it up to me.
I said I'm going to watch something. I bet you Roxy doesn't bring it up, and she brought it up.
Yeah.
I think that this show is, I would say the basic pitch is like if your therapist told you actually what you needed to hear, which sometimes is break up with him or you'll never be happy.
Show him the recording.
Yeah. So I think that this is definitely got some legs to be very funny. The first couple of episodes I think are solid, and I think it's going to grow from there.
I like the music in the show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, I do. Yeah. It's just like that's not the standout for me.
Oh. Okay. Well,
but everybody's got something.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like this, and I love Apple TV. To me, this is just like they don't miss really anymore. Yeah. So I love them. And then the show that everybody's talking about this week, I wanted to recommend to you guys because I think that the hype is really real. It is on Peacock, so a lot of you guys might not have that, but that is Poker Face.
Oh, yeah. I started watching it.
You did?
Yeah, the first 3 minutes.
Because I recommended it?
No, but the first 3 minutes I started watching it, and then my daughter, the only reason I turned it off is because my daughter walked in and it was not appropriate. It was like the beginning scene with like the housekeeping.
I think you're gonna like this show a lot.
I'm so far I like the way it's going.
But I think you're gonna like it too.
I love Russian Doll. I love her. I think
it's Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Willing to see something
exactly.
else.
Is he directing it?
I think he's the EP and not director, but I'm not sure. He might be. We can check on that. But Poker Face is really good. It is definitely like edgy. It's got crime elements to it, but it's most shows like this, I feel like, are in the past. This is a current day, and technology comes into play in an interesting way as well. So I'm really digging this, and thank you guys at home for recommending this to me, because I was like, okay, I got to check it out. And if you are on Peacock watching this, I already told you guys about Paul T. Goldman, but I just think that Peacock is ramping up their content.
They got some
right
stuff.
now, yeah.
And I will also, once again, as I mentioned before, I'm about 5 or 6 episodes into 1883. I love it. I think I might love it more than 1923.
No way. Whoa.
And I love 1923.
All right, I got to go do it then.
I love 1923.
It's almost back, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be back soon in the next couple of weeks. But like 1920, the only reason I started watching 1883 is because I got invested in 1923's characters and stuff. I'm like, well, let me see how the beginning of this all started. Tim McGraw, right? That's his name, right?
Country guy?
Dude, he's a really good actor. At
That's
least
interesting.
He's great. And Faith Hill, who he's really married to, is also really good in it. But this girl, Isabel May.
She's the girl.
Yeah, and Sam Elliott, of course. Do you know what it's about?
I saw the first episode.
Oh, you did? You saw it? Okay.
Yeah.
But, so...
Did you get it?
Do you even know how to watch
Yeah.
TV?
Yeah, I love it. So that's my pick. Is if you haven't seen it, and then you can see whether or not you agree with me that she could play Supergirl.
All right.
All right. Look, we did it. This is the show, and we got a lot of. I mean, this DC thing's going to be going for a while, and I would say I think that at this point when this comes out, our review of Knock at the Cabin is already out. Our Out of the Theater reaction is probably up already. So if you want to check that out, all 3 of us at this point have seen it. So, what do you guys think? By the way, of everything going on with DC. Just keep your thoughts coming, because I know that people got a lot of them. Roxy, where can the good peeps find you?
Everywhere at Roxy Striar.
Brett, what have you been doing with yourself?
I'm going to be here.
Okay, good.
I'll be here.
They can find you here.
Yeah, they can find me here.
Perfect. I really want to do that idea about her in the neighborhood, by the way.
I like it.
really want to do it. All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on the show. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. Show a little class. Will you hit that subscribe button? Get us to 65,000. We need it. We want it. And you guys can help us do it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Again, we are on video on Spotify. So check us out over there. Patreon.com. Get yourself one of those shirts. And we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Peace.